There was a time when these women were among the brightest stars in Hollywood. Their faces filled movie screens, magazines, and theater marquees across America. Millions admired them, and their names were impossible to ignore. But fame has a way of fading. Today, many of these once celebrated actresses rest in quiet cemeteries, where few visitors pause to remember who they were. In this journey, we'll visit the final resting places of 15 forgotten Hollywood actresses and uncover the remarkable lives that time has quietly pushed into the shadows. Number 1. Theda Bara. At Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, Theda Bara rests quietly inside the Great Mausoleum. Today, many visitors pass through this famous cemetery without realizing that one of Hollywood's earliest superstars is buried there. Born Theodosia Burr Goodman in Cincinnati in 1885, she was transformed by studio publicity into a mysterious exotic figure. Fox claimed she had been born in the Sahara and promoted her as a dangerous woman, unlike anyone audiences had seen before. Her breakthrough came in 1915 with A Fool There Was. The role made her famous as Hollywood's original vamp, a seductive woman who could destroy the men around her. Films such as Cleopatra, Carmen, and Salome turned her into one of the biggest stars of the silent era. But the woman behind the image was very different. Bara was intelligent, private, and reportedly frustrated that studios kept giving her the same kind of role. Her public identity brought her fame, but it also trapped her. Then everything began to change. Her contract with Fox ended in 1919, new stars appeared, and her career quickly faded. Even worse, most of her films were later destroyed in a 1937 fire at the Fox archives. Only a small number survive today, making it difficult for new audiences to rediscover her work. Bara married director Charles Brabin in 1921 and largely left acting behind. She died of stomach cancer in 1955 at the age of 69. Her grave is not truly abandoned, but it receives far less attention than her fame once suggested. Theda Bara helped Hollywood create the modern celebrity image, yet today she is remembered mostly through old photographs and a few surviving films. Leaving Glendale, we now turn to another silent screen beauty whose life ended far too soon. Number 2. Gloria Grahame. Gloria Grahame rests at Oakwood Memorial Park Cemetery in Chatsworth, California. Her grave is simple, a quiet ending for a woman who once won an Academy Award and captivated audiences with her unforgettable screen presence. Born in Los Angeles in 1923, Grahame entered Hollywood during the 1940s and quickly became known for playing glamorous yet emotionally complex women. Her performances in film noir classics such as The Big Heat, In a Lonely Place, and The Bad and the Beautiful made her one of the era's most distinctive actresses. In 1952, she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for The Bad and the Beautiful. At the height of her career, she seemed destined to remain one of Hollywood's brightest stars. But her private life often attracted more attention than her work. Her turbulent marriages and highly publicized relationship with Anthony Ray, the son of her former husband, shocked Hollywood and damaged her reputation. As scandals overshadowed her talent, major film roles became increasingly difficult to find. Rather than disappear completely, Grahame continued acting on stage and in television, even as her Hollywood career faded. In the final years of her life, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, but reportedly chose to keep working for as long as possible. Gloria Grahame died in 1981 at the age of 57. Although film lovers still admire her performances, her grave receives only occasional visitors compared with many of the legendary stars of her generation. Today, her legacy survives through the unforgettable characters she brought to life, proving that true talent can outlast fame even when the spotlight has long since faded. Our journey now continues to another forgotten Hollywood actress whose beauty once made her one of the silent era's biggest sensations. Number 3. Olive Thomas. Olive Thomas rests at Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx, New York. Her elegant monument stands as a reminder of a woman whose extraordinary beauty made her one of Hollywood's first major stars, and whose mysterious death has fascinated people for more than a century. Born in Pennsylvania in 1894, Olive began her career as a model before moving into silent films. Her natural charm and radiant smile quickly caught Hollywood's attention, and by the late 1910s, she had become one of the industry's most popular young actresses. Audiences adored her performances, and many believed an even greater career was still ahead. In 1918, she married actor Jack Pickford, the younger brother of silent film legend Mary Pickford. Their marriage was filled with frequent arguments and wild parties, making them one of Hollywood's most talked-about couples. Everything changed in September 1920 while the couple was vacationing in Paris. Olive accidentally drank a bottle of mercury bichloride solution, a highly poisonous liquid that belonged to her husband and was intended for medical use. She died several days later at just 25 years old. Her sudden death shocked the world and immediately sparked rumors of suicide, murder, and scandal. Although investigations concluded it was an accident, the mystery surrounding her final days has never completely disappeared. Today, only devoted silent film fans regularly visit her grave. Yet Olive Thomas remains one of Hollywood's earliest tragic stars, remembered not only for the mystery of her death, but also for the remarkable future that was taken from her far too soon. Next, we visit another actress whose dazzling beauty once captivated Hollywood before her career slowly faded into history. Number 4. Florence Lawrence. Florence Lawrence rests at Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles. Although her grave has become a place of respect for classic film enthusiasts, many visitors have no idea they are standing before the woman often called the world's first movie star. Born in Canada in 1886, Lawrence began acting when films were still in their infancy. At first, studios refused to credit performers by name, believing audiences only cared about the movies themselves, but everything changed because of her. In 1910, producer Carl Laemmle launched one of Hollywood's first major publicity campaigns by revealing her identity to the public. Fans finally learned the name behind the famous face they had admired for years. Overnight, Florence Lawrence became one of cinema's very first celebrities, helping create the Hollywood star system that still exists today. Despite her enormous influence, success did not last forever. As the film industry evolved, younger actresses replaced her, and major roles became increasingly difficult to find. Financial struggles and declining health followed, leaving the woman who had helped build Hollywood largely forgotten. In 1938, suffering from severe illness and depression, Florence Lawrence died at the age of 52. Her death marked a heartbreaking end for a pioneer whose contributions had transformed the movie industry. Today, film historians remember her as the biograph girl and one of the true founders of Hollywood stardom, yet compared with the countless stars who followed in her footsteps, her grave remains surprisingly quiet. A reminder that even the people who change history can eventually fade from public memory. Next, we meet another silent screen beauty whose glamorous life ended far sooner than anyone expected. Number 5. Barbara Lamar. Barbara Lamar rests at Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles. Today, only a small number of classic film fans stop to visit her grave, yet during the 1920s she was one of Hollywood's most glamorous and talked about actresses. Born in 1896, Lamar first found success as a dancer, screenwriter, and actress before becoming one of silent cinema's biggest stars. Her striking beauty and sophisticated image earned her the nickname "the girl who was too beautiful," making her a favorite among moviegoers and the Hollywood press. She starred in successful films such as The Prisoner of Zenda, The Eternal City, and The Shooting of Dan McGrew. At the peak of her fame, Barbara seemed to have everything: wealth, popularity, and a promising future. Behind the glamorous image, however, her life was filled with personal struggles. Long working hours, health problems, and a demanding lifestyle gradually weakened her body. Rumors surrounding her private life only added to the pressure as she tried to remain one of Hollywood's leading stars. In 1926, Barbara Lamar died from complications related to tuberculosis and nephritis at just 29 years old. Her death shocked the film industry and ended a career that many believed had only begun to reach its full potential. Today, her grave is far quieter than the applause she once received. Although her name has faded from public memory, Barbara Lamar remains one of the silent era's greatest lost stars. a woman whose extraordinary beauty and talent were matched only by the tragedy of her short life. Next, we meet another actress whose mysterious image captivated audiences before Hollywood slowly forgot her. Number 6. Anita Page. Anita Page rests at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, California. Her grave is modest, a quiet resting place for a woman who was once considered one of MGM's brightest young stars during Hollywood's golden transition from silent films to talking pictures. Born in New York in 1910, Page entered films as a teenager and quickly became known for her beauty and natural screen presence. By the late 1920s, MGM was promoting her as one of its leading actresses, and she appeared alongside some of the biggest names in Hollywood. She starred in successful films such as Our Dancing Daughters, The Broadway Melody, and Free and Easy. The Broadway Melody won the Academy Award for Best Picture, helping make Anita Page one of the most recognizable young actresses of her generation. But her success did not last. As Hollywood changed, Page turned down certain studio demands and gradually found herself receiving fewer major roles. By the mid-1930s, her once promising career had largely faded, and she stepped away from the spotlight. Unlike many forgotten stars, Anita lived a long life. Decades later, she surprised film fans by returning for occasional interviews and independent film appearances, becoming one of the last surviving actresses from the silent era. She died in 2008 at the age of 98. While classic movie lovers continue to celebrate her work, her grave receives only occasional visitors compared with many of MGM's biggest legends. Today, Anita Page is remembered as a symbol of Hollywood's rapidly changing early years, a star who reached the top almost overnight only to watch fame quietly slip away. Next, we visit another silent screen actress whose remarkable career was overshadowed by personal tragedy. Number 7. Constance Talmadge. Constance Talmadge rests at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Her grave is peaceful today, despite the fact that she was once one of the most beloved comedy actresses of the silent film era. Born in 1898 in Brooklyn, New York, Constance entered films alongside her sisters, Norma and Natalie Talmadge. While Norma became known for dramatic roles, Constance built her reputation through light-hearted comedies that showcased her charm, quick wit, and effortless humor. She starred in popular films including Wedding Bells, Dangerous Business, and Her Night of Romance. Audiences loved her lively personality, making her one of the highest-paid actresses of the early 1920s. At the height of her career, she was among Hollywood's biggest female stars. But the arrival of sound films changed everything. Unlike many of her contemporaries, Constance chose to retire rather than fully adapt to the new era. Still financially secure from her years of success, she stepped away from Hollywood while still relatively young and rarely returned to the screen. She spent the rest of her life enjoying a quieter lifestyle, far from the fame that had once surrounded her. Although she remained respected within the industry, newer generations gradually forgot the actress who had once filled movie theaters across America. Constance Talmadge died in 1973 at the age of 75. Today, only dedicated silent film enthusiasts regularly seek out her grave, while most visitors pass by without recognizing her name. Yet her influence on early screen comedy remains undeniable. She helped define an era when silent films could make audiences laugh without a single spoken word. Next, we remember another actress whose extraordinary talent was overshadowed by addiction and personal tragedy. Number 8. Alma Rubens. Alma Rubens rests at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Few visitors recognize her name today, even though she was once considered one of the silent era's most gifted dramatic actresses. Born in San Francisco in 1897, Rubens entered Hollywood as a teenager and quickly gained attention for her emotional performances. Unlike many stars known mainly for their beauty, she earned praise for bringing depth and realism to difficult roles, making her one of the industry's rising talents. She appeared in acclaimed films such as Humoresque, The World and the Woman, and Cytherea. Throughout the early 1920s, Alma seemed destined for an even greater career as audiences and critics admired her remarkable screen presence. Behind the scenes, however, her life was becoming increasingly troubled. Health problems led to the use of pain medication, which eventually developed into a serious addiction. The addiction affected both her health and her ability to work, causing studios to lose confidence in one of their brightest stars. Although she made several attempts to rebuild her career, the damage had already been done. The opportunities became fewer, and her once promising future slowly disappeared. Alma Rubens died in 1931 at only 33 years old. Her tragic story became one of Hollywood's earliest examples of how fame, pressure, and addiction could destroy a brilliant career. Today, her grave is visited mainly by silent film enthusiasts who remember the extraordinary talent she displayed on screen. While the spotlight faded long ago, Alma Rubens remains a powerful reminder that some of Hollywood's greatest tragedies happened far away from the cameras. Next, we visit another forgotten actress whose glamorous career slowly disappeared with the end of the silent era. Number 9. Evelyn Brent. Evelyn Brent rests at San Fernando Mission Cemetery in Mission Hills, California. Her grave is rarely visited today, even though she was once one of Paramount Pictures' brightest stars and one of the most recognizable faces of the silent era. Born in Tampa, Florida in 1895, Brent began her career as a model before moving into films. Her striking beauty and confident screen presence quickly earned her leading roles, especially in crime dramas and romantic adventures. Audiences admired her ability to portray strong, mysterious women. She became famous through films such as Underworld, Beau Geste, and The Last Command. During the late 1920s, she ranked among Hollywood's highest-paid actresses, and many believed her success would continue well into the future. Unlike many silent stars, Brent initially adapted well to talking pictures. However, changing audience tastes and the arrival of younger actresses gradually pushed her out of leading roles. By the late 1930s, her Hollywood career had slowed dramatically, and she spent the following decades appearing mainly in supporting parts and television. Although she never completely left the entertainment industry, the fame she once enjoyed slowly disappeared. The actress who had once headlined major productions became largely forgotten by newer generations of moviegoers. Evelyn Brent died in 1975 at the age of 79. Today, only devoted classic film fans occasionally visit her grave, remembering a woman who helped define Hollywood during one of its most exciting eras. Her story reminds us how quickly success can fade in the film industry, even for stars who once seemed unforgettable. Next, we meet another silent screen icon whose extraordinary popularity eventually slipped into history. Number 10. Vilma Banky. Vilma Banky rests at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Her grave is quiet today, although she was once one of the most admired actresses of the silent era and a favorite leading lady of Hollywood's biggest stars. Born in Budapest, Hungary in 1901, Banky began acting in Europe before being discovered by Hollywood producers. Her elegance, beauty, and graceful screen presence quickly won over American audiences after she arrived in the United States during the 1920s. She starred opposite legendary actors such as Rudolph Valentino and Ronald Colman in successful films including The Eagle, The Son of the Sheik, and The Magic Flame. At the height of her career, Vilma was one of MGM's most valuable actresses, admired around the world for her sophisticated image. The transition to sound films, however, proved difficult. Although she appeared in several talking pictures, her strong Hungarian accent limited the types of roles she could play. As audience tastes changed, her opportunities steadily declined, and she gradually stepped away from Hollywood. Unlike many forgotten stars, Banky enjoyed a peaceful private life after leaving the screen. She remained married to actor Rod LaRocque for more than 40 years, one of Hollywood's longest-lasting marriages. Vilma Banky died in 1991 at the age of 90. Today, only classic film enthusiasts regularly visit her grave, remembering an actress whose fame once reached audiences across the world. Her story reflects how quickly Hollywood can move on, even from its brightest stars. Though the crowds disappeared long ago, her performances continue to preserve the charm and elegance of the silent film era. Next, we remember another actress whose unforgettable screen presence has slowly faded from public memory. Number 11. Louise Brooks. Louise Brooks rests at Holy Sepulchre Cemetery in Rochester, New York. Today, her grave attracts only devoted film lovers, despite the fact that she became one of the most influential actresses in cinema history. Born in Kansas in 1906, Brooks began her career as a dancer before moving to Hollywood in the 1920s. With her iconic black bob haircut and natural acting style, she quickly stood out from other actresses of her generation. Her confidence and modern screen presence made her unlike anyone audiences had seen before. She is best remembered for Pandora's Box and Diary of a Lost Girl, two German silent films that later became cinematic masterpieces. Although these performances earned worldwide admiration, they were not fully appreciated during her lifetime, and Hollywood never gave her the recognition many believe she deserved. Brooks was outspoken and refused to follow the studio system, a decision that damaged her career. As opportunities disappeared, she left the film industry and spent many years living in relative obscurity, struggling financially while her fame faded. Later in life, however, film historians rediscovered her work. Her writings about Hollywood and silent cinema earned widespread respect, and a new generation recognized her as one of the greatest actresses of the silent era. Louise Brooks died in 1985 at the age of 78. While her influence on cinema continues to grow, her grave remains far quieter than the extraordinary legacy she left behind. Her story proves that true artistic greatness is not always recognized in its own time. Sometimes history remembers what Hollywood once overlooked. Next, we visit another legendary actress whose international fame could not prevent her from slowly fading from public memory. Number 12. Dolores Del Rio. Dolores Del Rio rests at Panteón Civil de Dolores in Mexico City. Although she remains a cultural icon in Mexico, her grave receives far fewer visitors than many of the Hollywood legends she once worked alongside. Born in Durango, Mexico, in 1904, Dolores became one of the first Latin American actresses to achieve major success in Hollywood. Her elegance, beauty, and remarkable screen presence quickly made her one of the industry's biggest international stars during the silent era and early sound films. She appeared in acclaimed films such as Ramona, Flying Down to Rio, and Bird of Paradise. At the height of her career, she worked with Hollywood's leading directors and actors, becoming a symbol of sophistication and helping open doors for future Latin performers. As Hollywood changed, however, the roles offered to her became increasingly limited. Rather than accept stereotypical characters, Dolores returned to Mexico in the 1940s, where she rebuilt her career and became one of the greatest stars in the history of Mexican cinema. Unlike many forgotten actresses, she successfully found a second chapter, earning critical acclaim on both film and stage for decades. Even so, newer generations outside Latin America gradually became less familiar with her remarkable achievements. Dolores Del Rio died in 1983 at the age of 78. Today, classic film enthusiasts continue to celebrate her legacy, but her grave remains a peaceful place visited mainly by devoted admirers. Her life proved that true talent can cross borders and generations. Though Hollywood eventually moved on, Dolores Del Rio remains one of the most influential actresses ever to bridge two great film industries. Next, we remember another gifted actress whose promising career slowly disappeared despite her unforgettable performances. Number 13. Dvorak. Anne Dvorak rests at Masonic Memorial Park Cemetery in Tumwater, Washington. Her grave is rarely visited today, despite the fact that she delivered some of the finest performances of Hollywood's golden age. Born in New York City in 1911, Dvorak grew up in a family connected to the entertainment industry and entered films while still young. Her talent quickly caught the attention of Warner Brothers, where she earned a reputation as a gifted actress capable of portraying emotionally complex characters. Her breakthrough came in the 1932 gangster classic Scarface, in which she played Cheska Camonte, the fearless sister of Tony Camonte. The performance established her as one of Hollywood's most promising young stars. She later appeared in films such as 3 on a Match and G-Men, proving her versatility in both drama and crime stories. Despite her talent, Dvorak often clashed with the studio system. She fought for better salaries and greater creative freedom at a time when actors had little power. Those conflicts damaged her relationship with Warner Brothers, and the leading roles that once seemed guaranteed gradually disappeared. Although she continued acting for many years, she never regained the level of fame she had enjoyed in the early 1930s. As Hollywood evolved, her remarkable performances were slowly overshadowed by newer stars. Anne Dvorak died in 1990 at the age of 78. Today, only dedicated classic film enthusiasts seek out her grave, remembering an actress whose career might have been even greater under different circumstances. Her story is a reminder that talent alone was not always enough to survive Hollywood's powerful studio era. Next, we meet another actress whose sparkling career faded almost as quickly as it began. Number 14, Alice White. Alice White rests at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Her grave is quiet today, even though she was once one of Hollywood's brightest young stars and a symbol of the carefree spirit of the Roaring Twenties. Born in New Jersey in 1904, White began her career as a film extra before quickly attracting attention with her lively personality and natural charm. Warner Brothers soon promoted her as one of its rising actresses, and audiences loved her energetic performances in romantic comedies and musicals. She starred in successful films such as Showgirl, Broadway Babies, and The Naughty Flirt. Often compared to Clara Bow, Alice became known as another glamorous it girl, whose youthful image perfectly matched the excitement of the jazz age. However, her career slowed as Hollywood entered the sound era. Although she continued acting in talking pictures, changing audience tastes and increasing competition made it difficult to maintain her earlier success. Personal controversies and legal troubles also brought unwanted publicity, further overshadowing her achievements. By the late 1930s, Alice had largely disappeared from leading roles. She later worked behind the scenes in television and quietly stepped away from the spotlight that had once made her famous across America. Alice White died in 1983 at the age of 78. Today, only dedicated fans of classic Hollywood remember the actress who once filled theaters with laughter and charm, while her grave remains a peaceful and often overlooked place. Her story reminds us that Hollywood fame can be dazzling but fleeting, leaving even its brightest stars to slowly fade from public memory. Our final stop takes us to another remarkable actress whose career successfully crossed both Hollywood and British cinema. Number 15, Bebe Daniels. Bebe Daniels rests at Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles. Today, few visitors realize they are standing before one of the rare actresses who successfully survived Hollywood's transition from silent films to talking pictures. Born in Dallas, Texas, in 1901, Daniels began acting as a child before becoming one of the biggest stars of the 1920s. She appeared in popular films including Rio Rita and 42nd Street, earning praise for her charm, strong singing voice, and natural screen presence. At the height of her career, she was among Hollywood's most admired leading ladies and worked alongside many of the industry's biggest names. Unlike many silent film stars, she adapted smoothly to sound movies. Later, she and her husband, actor Ben Lyon, moved to England where they became major radio and television personalities. While she remained famous there, her Hollywood legacy slowly faded as new generations of stars took over, leaving many younger movie fans unaware of just how influential she had once been. Bebe Daniels died in 1971 at the age of 69. Today, only classic film enthusiasts regularly visit her grave, remembering a performer whose career lasted far longer than most of her silent-era peers. Her story reminds us that fame is never guaranteed to last. These 15 actresses once inspired millions, dominated movie screens, and helped shape the golden age of Hollywood. They were celebrated around the world, yet today many of their final resting places remain quiet and largely forgotten. Although time has dimmed their fame, their unforgettable performances continue to keep their memories alive, proving that true legends never completely disappear. As the cameras stopped rolling and the applause faded away, these remarkable women were left with only their memories, their films, and the quiet places where they now rest. Which forgotten Hollywood actress do you think deserves to be remembered the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoy uncovering the hidden stories behind cinema's greatest legends, be sure to subscribe to Legends Never Fade, because another unforgettable Hollywood story is waiting for you in our next video.